Hey everybody, this is MyCollectables coming back with another video, and we have the first ever waitlist drop for comic books coming to Veve, and I'm going to review this comic for you really quickly right here, tell you how much it's worth in the real world, tell you a little bit about it, this Captain America number 180, but also I'm going to talk about the importance of the waitlist comic drop and what that means for, coming up soon with Hulk number 1, but you might have to wait at least one more comic drop, and I'll get into that in just a second. So if you do like the vid, make sure you smash like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you back for sure. If you want to join this channel as a member, you got two options, and it'll get you into my comic book rewards. I give out comic books to my members all the time by them owning a drop head NFT that you get for free. So join up if you want and just DM me, and I'll get you into that comic book reward program. We've given out almost 500 comics here, and we'll continue to do more, right? So we'll get into this, obviously, right now with the article over here. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back, and we can continue the conversation there as well, right? Anyway, so Veve tweeted out this comic right here, and it's not a bad comic. It's pretty damn good, actually. And this is actually the first appearance of a character called Nomad, which actually is Steve Rogers, Captain America himself. And what basically happens, the gist of it is, he gets really disillusioned with the U.S. government at the time. This is a comic that came out in 1974. So, he gets a little bit disillusioned with the government. He does not want to represent the United States. So he ditches the costume of Captain America, and he creates this new character called Nomad, which is basically someone without a country, and he still wants to fight crime and do all that stuff. It only lasts for a few comic book issues, though, and in number 184, Captain America 184, he actually goes back to Captain America, realizing he can still support the United States and all the values. He doesn't have to support the government that's actually in place. It's a very interesting comic, kind of like interesting for the sign of the times. I'm up in Canada, but if this might be a political statement, this comic, I don't know. Other than that, it also might give us a hint at what they're going to plan on doing with Captain America in the MCU, with the Falcon show coming up and everything, and where Captain America is going to be during this time, because he no longer is Captain America. Obviously, with the MCU, he got older and stuff. He went back in time, but he's been living a side life. We don't know what he's been doing. So it's a really interesting comic from that regard. Now, I'll tell you about the price of this comic and what I think it's going to be, and a bit of a price prediction. Now, if you look at Go Collect, this comic, I have the full access account. This comic is not bad. I talked about this in my live stream. You can see a 9.8 goes for about $12.50 US, which is not bad at all. There's only about 14 copies of it, so it's a little bit of a difficult copy to get. There's not a lot graded at that high level, and there's 49 though at a 9.6, so that's a decent amount. Still goes for just under 600 or so fair market value. You can see it's a decent comic for sure. Not a bad market cap for this kind of comic. And also there is speculation behind it because of the MCU and because it is a Steve Rogers character. Now, there's different versions of Nomad that have come up as well, but this is the most important one for sure. If you head over to eBay, you can snag the cheapest copy you can get for about $35 plus shipping Canadian. So, about $40 to maybe $50 US in total. You can pick up a really raw copy, a really beater, and then it just goes up and up from there, And so if you want to add one of these to your physical collection, not a bad idea. This one here, actually, this listing here has got 3 copies of this comic from this time period right here, number 180, 181, and 185. So it's kind of interesting. You get 3 for 1 there, and basically you're spending about $50 and you get the comic right in there. That's not a bad listing there for sure. It's not my listing. It's just not a bad listing. But here's the thing I want to talk about. If this one goes, into the market, I think it's going to do something similar to Iron Man 28, which is the first appearance of Howard Stark. Now, this comic actually has 7,500 editions, and the one we're talking about today has a 10,000 editions. But, this one here has got a first appearance. It sits around 2 to 3 gems, just around 2 gems on that. It's not exactly the most famous popular comic. I actually think, and here's the secret, we're sitting at around 70. I think this one's probably going to be very similar to that. Although I do think this one is actually going to be a little bit more popular because it is a Captain America comic. And I think people will sell this out eventually. Now, if you look at how much the price is down here, you can see it's a $6.99 drop at 10,000 editions. I actually thought this was going to be a 7,500 edition or even a 5,000 edition drop. but it's 10,000. I think that's specifically so they can test out this drop system, because if you know what's coming up after this, you can see the secret rare right there. And by the way, the covers look really good. I mean, this is a nice comic. I really actually like the uncommon for stackability. Looks really nice right there. And of course, I'll watch Corey's video breaking the whole thing down, getting a real deep dive. Make sure you do that for sure. I'll put a link to this article in the description of the video, obviously, as normal. But I think they're doing 10,000 on this one specifically because, you know, the Hulk 1 comic is going to be coming up soon after these comic waitlist drops go through. And I think there's going to be more than one, because if you actually look at what Veve tweeted, with successful comic waitlist drops, and it's plural up here, you can see there's an S right there, next week. So there's going to be another comic drop this week coming up that's going to be a waitlist as well. This is what it looks like. We'll get Incredible Hulk back on the schedule. So this one might come in 2 weeks from now or sometime next week. We'll see. But this is the big one right here. This is the grail that we all want. But you got to go through a couple of these first. And I think there's going to be 2. And this is going to be the first one. So this is the first ever waitlist drop. So it has a bit of special significance. I'm definitely going for it. I don't think it's going to be like worth over retail in the common and the uncommon, and the rare is probably going to be close to retail. I think that secret rare should hit about 70 or so. This is just a guess, but I'm just basing it upon, you know, what we've seen in the past, and just gauging the popularity of this comic. But, you know, Veve's taking a real nice turn. Things are going more up in value lately, so you never know what happens, but that would be my guess. But this is the big one we're waiting for next week, hopefully next week. And we'll see what the second comic book drop this week is going to be, you know, for them to test out the system. Same thing. Join about half an hour before and just sit back and wait and see if you get something. I'm 0 for 5 on the waitlist drops, so I'm hoping my luck changes here with the comic book, and we'll see what happens as well with you, right? So anyway, let me know what you think. Give me your price predictions and what you think about the whole waitlist system, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy collecting.